We had an incident that happened about 25 minutes ago that both myself and Candace were trying to address. So I do apologize. I hope that you're enjoying the coffee. I had asked them to make it a little bit more special than the normal coffee, so hopefully you're enjoying that. So this morning I'm going to do a presentation, talk about each department that I oversee, which includes transportation, security, resident services, and that includes spiritual life and fitness, dining services, and housekeeping and laundry. I'm going to provide some fun facts and some helpful hints on the operations that you may or may not know, but hopefully will make living here at John Knox a more positive one, knowing the information. And I think I'll just do this. Okay, so for those of you who do not know, I am Stan DeCosta. I'm the Director of Campus Services. I have been here at John Knox since December of 21, so I'm going on 4 years. I am a licensed nursing home administrator, originally from Connecticut, moved to Florida 5 years ago. It'll be 5 years in October. So I've spent most of my time that I've been here in Florida here at John Knox. The first department we're going to speak about is transportation. Our transportation supervisor is Sherry Smith. She is new to the role, but not new to John Knox Village. She's been here for many years. She's worked as a driver and a dispatcher. She really knows the operations of the office, and at this point, I believe she's the best person to take over the supervisor role. Norm left in May, and the role has been vacant as I've been interviewing and trying to find a right fit. And all along, I've always had Sherry in the back of my mind because she really does know the operation and does a good job. Her extension is 3,400. And in case you did not know, the transportation office has moved here to the Barker Center. It is where Sandy McPhillips' office used to be, and that is adjacent to where Candace's office is now. Candace's office is where my office is. If you didn't know, there's an adjoining door. So Candace has direct access to Sherry and can assist her because resident services and activities work really side by side with transportation. You can also call 5000 for Village Express. The Village Express works continuously throughout the day to pick up residents from one point and bring them to another point. If you know that you are going to have a standing dinner reservation, let's say at Crane's every day at noon, and you want to be picked up every day to be brought to Crane's, you can schedule that as well by calling Sherry at 3,400. Twice a week, transportation does grocery shopping. They will pick up residents and bring them to either Walmart, Publix, or Kohl's, and then bring them back. And that is a free service that John Knox does. John Knox also provides every single day free service to any physician within the Orange City area. There's some discussion about what that looks for doctors' offices that are just outside of Orange City, and I am looking at that currently and maybe making some revisions to that. I know, I could tell you right now that I have looked at right over the DeLand line, I forget the name of the plaza, but many residents have called me asking me about that, and we have now included that in the free service. So if you have questions with that, you can ask Sandy, and she'll be able to help. We have seven vans that operate on a daily basis. Some of those vans are newer. We purchased 3 last year. We're looking to purchase 2 more this year. We really do a really decent job maintaining our vehicles mechanically. We have a vehicle that has over 200,000 miles. So that's kind of impressive when you think about it. And the accolades go back to transportation because they keep up with the oil changes, the tire rotations, things like that. As you all know, we are waiting for our new bus. I can tell you that I did see the bus. It has made its way to Florida, and we're waiting for it to be wrapped. So within the next several weeks, we should see the bus rolling onto campus. And it is a beautiful bus. So some fun facts. Average number of miles driven each year. Last year was 133,000 miles. They transported about almost 24,000 residents last year. And then they do an average number of trips of 18,492. Those trips are to concerts, theaters, restaurants. Obviously, we do a lot of business bringing residents to airports for residents to vacation, and we go back and forth. And obviously, the doctor's offices and churches are other things. Security. James Ashworth is the security manager. His office, again, has moved. His office is where Candace's office used to be. Strategically, I thought that would be a great spot for him because he's closest to the front door, and already since he's moved, he was able to quickly get to an incident that happened right outside of the Barker Center. So before even the patrol person was able to get there, James was able to get there. So having him here at the Barker Center, in the center of the campus, I think is a good move for James. He currently has 16 employees. They are typically, security is typically the first person to respond to any incident that happens on campus. Talk a little bit about pull cords and pendants. So every unit, every building has pull cords. Those of you, I see a couple that are in the audience that have been going to the wood shop, which is kind of the newest place on campus. We have made sure that there are pull cords in there as well. So pull cords are throughout the campus. You pull them in case of an emergency. If it's a life or death emergency, I'm going to ask that you call 911, then contact security. You don't want to take time to be looking for a pull cord or whatever it is. If it's an actual life or death emergency, please call 911. We also have pendants. Many residents wear them. They are for sale. You can purchase one for $120 that goes around your neck or $130 that goes around your wrist. The department is staffed to cover all 3 gatehouses now. So that is kind of different from last year. We used to cover only Gatehouse 1 and Gatehouse 2, and then we slowly started adding Gatehouse 3 into it. It is fully staffed now, so there is an attendant at all 3 gatehouses. I know Gatehouse 2 is currently under construction in the middle of moving, but there still is someone there. And then there's also someone on patrol all 3 shifts. So there are 4 security officers on all 3 shifts, which is different than it was, again, a year ago, where we would run with just the 2 gatehouses in patrol, so there were 3 officers on each shift. We've also, something different that we've done with security is we've assigned to each shift a shift leader. So if James is not available, there is someone on campus that is responsible for that first shift, second shift, or third shift. Okay? The average response time for security is 2 minutes and 21 seconds. So we keep track of how long it takes for security to get to a call when a courtesy call comes in, and that time, I have a goal that they're getting there within 3 minutes. So them getting there on an average of 2.21, I think, is very impressive. Over the past year, they have responded to 588 courtesy calls, courtesy responses. 216 were medical, 36 were smoke alarms, 240 were falls, 24 motor vehicle accidents, or incidents, I should say, not accidents. So it could be, you know, an actual accident or something that happens with a motor vehicle. And then 72 resident assists. So resident services. Candace DiGiovanni, who's in the audience, is a resident services coordinator. She does a fabulous job. Her extension is 1203. Resident service assistants, you can meet them, or you can get them by dialing 1201 or 1202. Gail, Brittany, and Doug are the resident services assistants. We have increased staffing in resident services so that Candace is able to have someone here 7 days a week and also cover some of our evening activities. So there should always be someone from resident services here. Over the past year, we have increased entertainment. Many residents have acknowledged that. So we like to have at least 2 entertainment events scheduled each week. We have, monthly, we have an approximately 4 to 6 free musical entertainers. And over the last 3 years, we've added over 100 vendors. That means that Candace is constantly looking to get new talent to come here to John Knox. Activity survey results were impressive and helped to add and change activity and events as residents requested. And I'm going to go over the survey that Candace did back in June. Some newly added activities this year are the top tier diners, GATS, parks and lunch, wine tastings, themed dance parties, which I believe is very popular, and national days in that current month. What is August, Candace? Lemonade. So this slide is difficult to read, but it is the recurring events that are happening on Village. You can see this on Cubigo, you see it in the weekly, but I just wanted to throw it up there to kind of give an idea of, you know, how busy it is for activities. Some of the examples are ping pong, shuffleboard, and billiards. So in the past 6 months, these are just some numbers of on-campus activities. In February, there were 1,059. March, 1,134. April, 1,360. May, 1,891. June, 1,681. And July, 1,184. And then off-campus is 134 in February, 137 in March, 211 in April, 172 in May, 206 in June, and 128 in July. Back in March, we started using a tablet to check residents in and out of different events. I did get a couple comments and questions about that, and I thought maybe I would address that. Some residents thought we were doing that to check up on the residents and see where they are and what they're doing. And that is furthest from the truth. We do like to know what you guys are doing, and we will use that data if we're having a life care discussion about a resident whose family may be concerned that they're not as active as they once used to be. We'll go back and we'll look and see if they're attending activities, but that's not our purpose for tracking attendance. We actually track the attendance so that we know what is popular and what is not. I'm going to go over the graphs. I have them on different slides, and I know that it's probably very difficult to understand, but I will explain that to you. Community engagement. Oops. Hold on 1 second. Page. This is my. How do I get that to move down, Candace? I'm just going to go here. Community engagement includes residents, council, and volunteering. Emotional includes music, activities, jewelry, making crafts. Intellectual is current affairs, dance, or religion. Physical is fitness, billiards, tennis. and social includes dining out, karaoke, and bingo. So in this slide, it is showing us attendance. So the reddish color, that there is our physical activities. So you could see that a lot of our activities are residents enjoy the physical ones. So that would include anything that's in fitness, tennis, pickleball, billiards, things like that that are physical activities that residents are doing. The blue one is the social ones. So I think between physical and social, those are what the residents are enjoying. And then the yellow and orange, just so you know, is the yellow is intellectual, and then the orange is emotional. This slide shows you when activities are more popular. So the 9 a.m., can anyone take a guess what 9 a.m. represents? Anybody? Exercise, I heard. Yeah, so exercise, chats in the morning, things like that. We get a lot of residents that like to go to Joe's Chat, the coffee withs, but things that happen in the morning. Also, I know that when I am going to leadership on Thursday, there's always a group of residents that are playing pickleball every Thursday. So those are those types of activities. The other peak time is between 12 and 2. And then it peaks up again slightly in the afternoon around 4 and then around 6 o'clock. Some of you may have seen this on Cubigo. This is the activity survey results. In June, we launched an activity survey. 235 residents completed the survey online, and 29 residents completed paper copies of it. When you look at the graphs, some show less than 264 responses. That's because people on paper surveys didn't answer the questions, or they answered multiple for the same question, which disqualified the answer. I'll go back there. So we've learned through the survey that Thursday is the most popular day for activities. I'm sorry, Tuesdays, followed by Thursdays, and then Fridays, Mondays, and Saturdays. We did not put Wednesday in because Wednesday is bingo. So we don't want to change bingo day. What time frame is best for resident activities? So out of the responses, we had 88 say between 10 a.m. and 12 p.m., 24 said between 12 and 2, 86 said between 2 and 4, 12 said between 4 p.m. and 6 p.m., and 52 said between 6 p.m. and 8 p.m. What day of the week is best for resident entertainment? That day would be Friday with 96, followed by Thursday at 65, Saturday at 49, Tuesday at 35, and Monday at 13. What time frame is best for resident entertainment? So if I go back, just so that we're not confused, what time frame is best for activities? That's all activities. And this one is entertainment. So the entertainment that Candace brings in onto campus, the bands, the comedians, things like that. So that time frame for entertainment is 161 between 6 p.m. and 8 p.m., followed by 53 at 2 p.m. to 4 p.m., 37, 4 p.m. to 6 p.m., 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. is 5, and 12 to 2 is 4. Rate the following activities from most interested to least interested on a scale of 1 to 5. So leisure was 726, cultural 682, educational 625, again physical 814, and then social 691. Which activity do you attend the most? Entertainment came in the lead at 113. Social dinners at 58. Lectures, educational at 56. And physical at 37. Rate the following off-campus activities that you would like to attend most interested to least interested on a scale of 1 to 6. Sports events, 1138. Theatrical, 26. Shopping, 1078. Concerts, 684. Museums, 823. And social outings, 867. Does anybody have any questions with the survey before I move on?
Is it available on Cubico?
Yes, you could look at the survey results on Cubigo. Next is resident fitness. Talina Hendrickson is our fitness coordinator. Her extension is 1250. She has the average number of residents utilizing the fitness center monthly is almost 3,000. Daily average number of classes. Talina works extremely hard to try to provide a class that everyone enjoys. She does an average of 8 classes each day. Some days there's less. It never goes more than 8, but it averages to be 8. And then average number of participants is 1,506, and average number of independent equipment users are 1,121. That's on a monthly basis. Some of her specialized classes include senior fitness, Latin dance, Tai Chi, and balance and stretch. Ray Bertrand is our chaplain. He's at extension 2014. For those of you who don't know, chaplain's office has moved from Majestic Oaks over here to the Barker Center. He is where Michael Buxton's office used to be. Again, we want everyone on campus to have the ability to see the chaplain when they need to. I felt him being in Majestic Oaks, he was kind of off the beaten path of the campus, especially for most of our resident population, which is independent. So having him here puts him center in the campus and hopefully more available to each person. Chaplain Ray attends the Spiritual Life Council. And then off to the side, it may be a little difficult to see, are some of his reoccurring services that he does each day. He does a worship service at Majestic Oaks on Sundays. He does 2 of them actually, one in the main dining room and one in memory care. He does the Vesper service here in the Barker Center. On Mondays, there's spiritual deepening. Now, he doesn't actually attend all of these, but these are some of the different spiritual events that are happening. There's an Episcopal communion on Tuesdays, men's course on Tuesdays. There's a prayer meeting in the chapel on Wednesdays, Bible study, Vesper choir rehearsal. Both of those are on Wednesday as well. On Thursday, there's a worship service in Oakview Suites. And then on Saturday, there's a Catholic Holy Rosary in the chapel, and then a Catholic Mass in the chapel at 4 o'clock. This information is also provided in the weekly. So food services. Raven Bazunda is the executive chef. Everyone knows who Raven is, right? Okay. His extension is 1301. Dem Nguyen is our general manager. Her extension is 1313. James Gagney is the kitchen manager. His extension is 3716. Sandy McPhillips, Administrative Assistant, 1315. They have about 115 employees as we speak today. That changes, goes up a little bit. It usually probably will not go down from that, but it may go up 5, depending on the position and whether it's part-time or full-time. So Raven, his responsibility is the executive chef for the campus. His office is in the Cranes kitchen, and he pretty much is responsible for all of food service in both locations, in that kitchen and the JJ's kitchen. However, James Gagney is the kitchen manager, and he works out of the clubhouse. His office is in the clubhouse, and he works there. James is responsible for what comes out of the JJ's and the bistro. He can be reached again by dialing 3716, or you can always see one of the dining room managers, whether it's Dem or one of the assistants, Maya, Katie, or even Julie, and ask to see James if need be. Sandy, although she has moved from over here, and she is sitting next to Tina over at Oak Park, her extension remains the same, and she is the administrative assistant for food service. She also does a lot for both Michael and I, which is outside of the food service scope, but she can help with reservations. So if you're trying to make a reservation to a dining venue, Sandy would be that person to be able to help you with that. And she's here Monday through Friday. So menu rotation. You know, one of the things when the resident satisfaction survey goes out each year, one of the things that comes up on it is variety of menu options. So we have worked really, really hard to try to make the menu have more variety. I also am aware that many residents like to dine in a specific area. So then that menu becomes extremely stale, right? So what we've tried doing in some of our dining venues, not all of them, but at JJ's and Cranes specifically, we rotate our menu. It's a 6-week cycle. So there are things that you will see on the menu all the time, because if we take it off, I know I'm going to get a call and say, what happened to this? It happens all the time. I remember when I first arrived here at John Knox, we took turkey off of the grill menu on Sundays. I thought I was going to be kicked out to the curb, okay? So I found very quickly that there are certain things that you cannot change on the menu. So when you go to Cranes, you will see things that are always on there. But it's a 6-week cycle. It repeats itself every 6 weeks to try to increase variety. It's a way that we have been trying to do that probably for the past, I don't know, I'm close to a year now in Cranes, and we just started it maybe 3 months ago at JJ's. It didn't go over as well at JJ's because initially with JJ's, we didn't have anything that stayed the same each week. But we learned very quickly that there are certain things that residents want to see on that menu, and we've implemented them back onto the menu. Survey stance. Does everyone know what survey stance is? This little machine. Okay, we see this at Cranes. That's where we introduced it. Can everyone still hear me? Okay, good. We introduced it at Cranes, and then we just recently put it at Oak Tree Grill. It is very simple to use. We want you to use it, good and bad. If you really enjoyed your meal, thought it was a great experience, all you have to do is hit the happy face. It'll take about 15 seconds for it to come back for the next person that wants to use it. If they liked their meal, but it wasn't the best, you can go to the next green one. Okay, I'm not going to hit it because I don't want to wait for it to come back. My point to doing this demonstration is if you're not satisfied with something, okay, and you hit the angry little red face, it prompts some questions, okay? What could have made your dining experience better today? Waited too long, poor quality, poor service, my meal was too cold, didn't like the taste or cleanliness of the dining area, okay? You could hit multiple ones. So if there were multiple things, you could hit 3 different things, okay? And then hit the little arrow. I wasn't quick enough, and I'm sorry. Wait for it to go back. So, okay, I've highlighted 3 things. You hit this little arrow here, and it brings you to a next screen that says, would you like to be contacted by our team about your experience? If you don't want to talk about it, and you just wanted to give that information, that's great. But we'd love to hear from you to get your feedback, okay? So, again, if you hit yes, it prompts you to the next screen, and it asks you to share your name and contact information. Here's why I'm doing the demonstration. Probably about 10% of the residents that fill this out who say yes actually put in their contact information. So it's an iPad, comes up with a little typing thing. You can just put your first name and your phone number. You could put your last name and your phone number, however you want to do it to make it as easy as possible. But let us know who you are if you want to be contacted. Because if you say yes and then don't fill this out, we have no way to contact you, and then it feels like we're not doing our job. So does anybody have any questions with survey stance? Okay. So this past year, we implemented the server's training manual. I think that has done a great job. I'm sorry. Oh, okay. I think it's done a great job. I think that the servers they have really adopted it and are working towards it. Is it always perfect? No. Do we have issues? Yes, we know it, and we're constantly working with them. There's competencies that the dining managers work with the employees. We have a communications meeting every single day. If something comes up that a server was carrying a glass the wrong way, we will educate each and every server. We will also speak to that server if we know who it is on a one-on-one coaching, okay? Your feedback does not necessarily mean that an employee is going to be disciplined for something. We want it to be a learning experience. We want them to improve. So we welcome your feedback, good and bad. And talk a little bit about reservations versus walk-ins. We had done reservations for a very long time at JJ's. And then residents said, we don't want to do reservations. We want to just be able to go spontaneously. And I understand that from a resident standpoint. I want you to kind of understand the difference between why dining venues decide to do reservations and why they choose not to. And each dining venue, you have the ability to make a reservation, whether it's just yourself dining or you're going with a group of 10 people, okay? Actually, 5 or more require a reservation, but my point is that you can make a reservation at any time, and I recommend that. And the reasons for that is it allows us to prepare in a way that we wouldn't be able to if we didn't know. So we track meals where people dine every single day, and I'll go through what we serve in meals in just a little bit, but we track that and we kind of have to forecast, okay, it's Friday, we think we're going to do about 100 covers at JJ's. But if I know that there's 60 people going, we prepare for that. And we make extra, and we prepare for that. We prepare for it both back of the house and front of the house. So the servers, we will staff accordingly to make sure that there are enough servers to handle the flow of residents that are going in. If we get an evening, and usually this happens when? End of the month, where people just show up and, it becomes very chaotic, right? Because we're trying to forecast, if you will, where people are going to be dining, okay? And we pretty much do a good job, and that's based on historical data, but it sometimes does not run as smoothly as we'd like it to. Nutritional concerns. Sometimes residents have nutritional concerns and want to know who they can talk to. Raven is always a good resource, okay? We also have a dietitian on campus. Her office is in Majestic Oaks. Her name is Sheila Joseph. She is available by appointment if you really need to discuss something that is important to you about your nutrition. All right, Sandhill Cranes. Sandhill Cranes dining room is located second floor Commons. They, over the past year, served almost 50,000 meals on average, okay? 136 a day. The menu, as I spoke about, is rotating a 6-week cycle. Some of the things that are on there is our weekly specials, like prime rib. Today is Wednesday, right? So how many people are having prime rib today? They are open Monday through Sunday, but Monday through Saturday from 12 p.m. to 7 p.m. And then on Sundays, they do 3 seatings, and they're open from 12 to 5. And those seatings are 12 o'clock, 2 o'clock, and 4 o'clock. Oak Tree Grill. Who would guess that Oak Tree Grill is the busiest dining venue we have? And the reason is that the grill has some really good food, and they have a lot of menu items. So they've served over the past year 78,445 meals. Okay, that's an average of 249 a day. It is our only dining venue that's open for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and we continue to serve breakfast all day long. There are 4 entrees that are on the breakfast menu that are available. And then there are 23 lunch and dinner items. One of those is a daily special, which rotates daily. They are open Sunday through Saturday from 8 a.m. until 7 p.m. So every day of the week they are open until 7 o'clock. Again, that is something that is, maybe a little over a year that we've been doing that. It could be a little bit longer than that, but that is based from the resident requests. Residents asked for a dining venue to stay open a little bit later, and so we've done that. Bay dining. So the number of meals served in Bay is 10,685. That's about 40 meals each day. Bay is open Monday through Friday from 11 to 2. It closes from 2 to 4, and then it reopens, and it is open from 4 to 7. Their menu, although it's not on a 6-week cycle, we do try to rotate it out every 6 to 8 weeks, sometimes a little bit longer, depending on how popular the menu is. JJ's, they served 13,229 meals this past year. That's an average of 79 meals each day that they're open, which is Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. They also do brunch on Sundays, and we calculate those meals a little bit differently. It's not included in the dinner menu, so they have its own separate number. Their menu rotates every 6 weeks, as I stated, and they are open from 4 p.m. until 7 p.m. on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, and then 10:30 to 1:30 for brunch on Sunday. The bistro serves 7,379 meals, averaging 40 meals each day. Their menu consists of build your own pizza, stromboli and wraps. They have popcorn, chicken, or shrimp that you can do. There is a vegetarian option, or many of the items that we have can be made into a vegetarian option, and they also have the ability to make some of the things that are like in wraps into a salad if you'd like. Okay. This year we added a panini to the bistro. So there's a different panini that is added to that menu. And their hours are Wednesday through Saturday from noon to 7. The Scoop retail shop, it is open every day from 9 a.m. until 5 p.m. One of the biggest questions I get, and especially since we raised the price of ice cream and cookies, is why such a drastic change in the price. So for the longest time, and I've said that I've been here for almost 4 years, we have sold cookies for $1. To purchase that cookie in itself, just get the cookie, is $1 from the purveyor. Okay? Sometimes they're more than $1, depending on the type of cookie, but the least expensive was $1. So we're not making any money on that. We have labor that we have. Ice cream. You know, the people have said to me, I actually just got a call last week, I think it was, that $5 for a milkshake. You can go buy a Hamilton Beach blender and make your milkshake, buy your ice cream at the grocery store and make your milkshake at home for less money. I understand that. But I also understand that as a consumer, that if I decide to go out to get ice cream someplace, I'm going to spend more money than I would if I purchased it at the grocery store. And the reason for that is we don't have the same buying power as Publix or Walmart. Their buying power is astronomical compared to what we do. And we are not selling ice cream to make a profit. So those two things needed to increase because we were literally losing money on it every single day. But we do try to be very competitive. I know, like, if Dem goes and purchases laundry detergent to sell in there, she knows what they're selling it at Publix and Walmart and tries to be competitive with it. Is it going to be more to buy laundry detergent in the Scoop? It might be. But it's a convenience for you to be able to come to the Scoop and get what you need. Keep hitting the wrong button. Treetop Lounge. We spend $125,000 a year in excess on alcohol. In the lounge itself, they sold almost $50,000 worth of drinks. That is just in the lounge. That does not include the beverages that you order when you're in Cranes. That's just going to the lounge, almost $50,000. A couple of years ago, I adjusted the price on wine, and we kind of standardized the pours on wine. Again, that needed to be done. We were losing money on wine. It is hard for you to believe that is. We definitely were. And I'm not convinced that they follow that pour each and every time. Pickup and delivery. So, we ended curbside. I heard a lot of grief about that. One of the reasons for that is we want our residents to dine together. Part of living here in this environment is the socialization. And I get that sometimes someone's not feeling well and they don't want to go to a dining room to dine, but the idea of it is for them to dine together. We ended curbside. We continue to do pickup and delivery. I will tell you that those numbers are drastically dropping. So I think that people are enjoying dining out in the dining venues. So when we first ended curbside, we were somewhere between 50 and 65 meals that we were doing for that. And we're down to about an average of 26 meals for pickup each day. So I think that we're moving in the right direction for that. But over the past year, we served 9,582 takeout meals. We also do special functions, celebration, chef's cook-off, those types of meals, any type of event that goes on here where we provide a meal, that's included in these numbers, 6,179. Joe told me that I was going to be longer than an hour, so I'm going to try to speed it up. So housekeeping. Brian Schumann is the housekeeping and laundry manager. His extension is 3100. Tracy Tift is the housekeeping and laundry supervisor. They have 34 employees. They average 11,340 annual cleans. And then there's an additional 420 on average annual cleanings each year. Some common housekeeping questions that get asked. What do you do to prepare for housekeeping to come? Really, what you should be doing is clearing out your sink. When housekeeping comes, you don't want your sink full of dishes. Give them an opportunity to go there, clean the sink properly. They're not going to be able to do that if you've left all your dirty dishes in the sink. They will come in, they'll clean the sinks, they'll clean the floors, countertops, fronts of the cabinets and appliances, sinks, stovetops, showers, toilets, and the front entrance door frame. They'll wipe that down. Any glass and mailbox on the front door, they'll also clean. Also, preparing for housekeeping to come, pick up the clutter. So I talked about them cleaning the counters, right? If you have a lot of clutter on the counter, perhaps put it into a pile so that they can clean the counter thoroughly. They're not going to go and pick up everything and put it in a pile for you. That's not what they're supposed to be doing, and they don't know what you want to have done with that clutter. Also, clear paths. So they're looking to make sure, number one, that there are clear paths in your units, that if there were an emergency, we could get in there. They report back to me if there's not, and occasionally I'll have to go out to a resident, and we'll talk about how we can assist on trying to make those paths clear. You do have the ability to order extra cleaning. You could do it on a routine basis, so every week there's an extra cleaning so that you have housekeeping that's coming in every single week. Or you might be having guests coming over and it's not your clean week. You can call housekeeping and ask to have an extra cleaning. Okay? There is a charge for that. I believe it's like $19. It's really minimal, but it is something that you can do. They also, with the annual clean schedules, they also will do any carpet cleaning. So if you have wall-to-wall carpeting, they're going to come in and they're going to shampoo the carpet. You could request and pay extra to have area rugs and things like that done. You can call Brian and he'll help you get that set up. Laundry. Average pound of laundries. This one I think many people are shocked when they see that. 617,000 pounds of laundry in a year. That's a lot. Now, people may ask how we come up with that number, and that's based upon the size capacity of the machine. We don't actually weigh the laundry, but it is the size capacity of the machine. It is a normal thing that senior living, they weigh the laundry or they collect that data. I'm not quite sure why, but we do it. I do know in my last community they actually had a scale that they weighed the laundry to provide that data. We don't do that here, so it's based upon the capacity of the machines. Majestic Oaks had 444,000. Dining services was 91,000. And all other services on the campus was in another almost 82,000 pounds of laundry. Some laundry tips. They will clean your comforters and pillows. Small area rugs that can go into a machine, they will wash for you if you need it to be done. And then linen and personal clothing. They, if you're requesting to have that done, we're going to forward that request to home health. Really, it's not something that should go through the laundry. Home health would be happy to help you with that. So linen and personal clothing would go through home health. I also want to talk about preparing for a transition to Majestic Oaks or Oakview Suites, and kind of what they do when you go there, because I know that some residents kind of are unsure of that process, especially if it's the first time. So when you arrive, they're going to do an inventory of everything that you bring with you, okay? And from there, they will do labeling of the clothes. That is to make sure that we don't lose your laundry, okay? So if you're going to Majestic Oaks or Oakview Suites, or you have a spouse that is going, it's important to make sure that they are taking a complete inventory of the clothing that you have and that it goes off to get labeled before it starts getting washed. Because guess what? If it's not labeled, they're going to have a hard time finding it. And then it's just based on description, okay? The other thing is, if you bring someone a gift, you want to make sure that, you know, if it's a clothing, a gift that is a piece of clothing, you want to make sure that it gets labeled. So wrap up and some key takeaways. You know, each department is focused this year on JKV's 3 C's. You may have heard Joe talk about it. That is compliance, communication, and customer service. Each day our team works to strengthen service, compliance, and teamwork. Every decision supports the quality of life of each and every resident. In keeping us resident-centered focused. Our departments are focused on exceeding regulatory standards. Accountability drives that success, so we pay attention to what our employees are doing, and we hold them accountable so that we are successful in what we do. And then sharing our goals across the departments is important for continuous improvement. I meet with my managers just about on a weekly basis as a group, on top of one-to-one meetings with them. But pulling them together as a group, I think, lets them understand what each and every department is doing and some of the struggles that they may be having, and they might be able to help with that. Dem always has questions. So, from that, does any of you have any questions?
Could you explain wrapping the bus?
Sure. So the 2 buses that we had, the T39 and the one that was involved in the automobile accident, those have a wrap on them. So it is a process. Shannon has helped me out quite a bit with that because it's marketing and branding, right? So it has John Knox logo on it. It has people looking like they're having a really good time. So that's where the marketing and branding comes in. And that's what will go around the entire bus. It seems like it's a simple process, but in order to make sure that it looks right, we have to make sure the measurements are correct. We've had some issues with measurements with this current bus, which is probably why it's not here yet. But in my timeline, I accounted for things like this to happen. So it will look just like the old bus with similar graphics on it.
We want to make sure that you can see it when you're out and about in the community and know that, hey, that's my bus.
How many residents do the buses at John Knox carry?
How many residents? So the large bus that we have on campus is 39 passengers. And then the new bus that's coming is 18 passengers. It has the ability to accommodate 2 wheelchairs. There's a wheelchair lift in it. If we have 2 wheelchairs in it, though, it goes down to 16 seated passengers. Any other questions? All right. Well, thank you, guys. I appreciate you coming and listening to me. Hope it was informative.